So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever we are in our now moment in time, whether you're viewing this now with me live or whether you're watching this and rewatching this in 6 months' time because you felt called to, this is for you in that now moment because it'll be why you're drawn to it. I want to share this post to start with that's from one of our Patreon members had sent me and translated into English. Because I think it's so relevant now, and it's probably going to be increasingly be more relevant over the next 6 months, because I truly believe the energy, there's so much light coming to our planet. On a scientific note, we've got what we call solar flares. So that's like a radiation, if you like, that sort of affects us without us really knowing. HeartMath have done some really interesting research into how cosmology affects our planet and how we're affected by it. If you look at their site, the HeartMath Institute, you can access their scientific research and their papers. But basically, I can't remember the name of the study, but this study talks about how when there's certain increases in this energy, that's when there's been wars, that's when there's been like more mental energy and conflicts and stuff increases. So we're kind of affected. And this is what the study was looking at the times they had this and what was happening in the world. And they've kind of linked that it definitely has an effect on human behavior. And that makes sense from the moon and us that are into moonology, because we're made of water and the moon moves our tides. So even the small moon, which is kind of in our orbit, has that effect. So you think about the big planets and how they affect us in different ways. So the sun itself is our star in our solar system, although we call it the sun, it is our star. There are lots of other stars. And at the moment, we've got Aries new moon today when I'm recording this, and Chiron, so the healer as well, or the wounded warrior, I think it gets called sometimes. I'm not a cosmologist or an astrologer, but I do like to know what's going on. Anyway, many feel that something big is going on. What the sensitives have been feeling for a long time is now being noticed by more people. The transition to a new era is becoming visible and tangible. In my opinion, the solar flashes have not yet started. I agree. Matthias De Stefano spoke about this in Egypt. They're meant to start increasing. So we've had few, and a friend of mine's a photographer. So she likes to take pictures of the aurora borealis, basically the northern lights. And so she looks at when these flares happen. So she's got all these weather patterns, and I'll share in our Qigong group, I'll put her latest thing that she's put. It's highest that it's been in the 9 years she's been studying it. We had a peak the other day, and that's like she's been doing this for 10 years. And the same with, if you've heard of the Schumann resonance, that has been shifting, and that goes and links into what they were talking about within HeartMath, where HeartMath themselves have sensors all over the planet. So when we do group meditations, they've got like an app that you can go in and took part in, but you can buy sensors to put on your body. And when you meditate, you link up to this thing. So then it shows you not just, I mean, if you do it without the sensors, it just shows you all the people that are meditating at that time in the app. And they were recording the data for the people that had the sensors. So they've been studying. And there's definitely a correlation between when more people meditate, and the Schumann resonance and how it is affected. But it also works both ways. So, for example, when major events happen that affect us emotionally, like 9/11, there was a huge dip in the Schumann resonance. So we're affected. And I think, although this is quite a new science, it's really interesting to know how we are affected. And actually, I think that more and more, the more they understand about it, the more they'll be able, it's like a weather report of how we can be affected emotionally. and how our emotions obviously affect our physiology, I think is being linked into to stuff like that. So it's meant to intensify, and Matthias reckons that by 2026 we'll be hit with some high stuff. So, but what the good thing about that is that slowly it's increasing slowly. So our bodies are evolving and allowing us to get used to it, and then you'll just get used to it again, and then it comes more. But if you think of it in terms of light, your body is made of light. So, but we are still 3D, we're dense. So we sort of shift, and it shows up in the body, which is why I think Qigong's really good for us to shape that out, which is what we're doing before started. We are still in veritable, but still in the vestibule, she's that word, but that doesn't mean it isn't intense already. The intensity will increase sharply in the coming days, weeks. Extreme values will be achieved. The snowfall today, some look at this from a different angle, feels to me a result of the enormous solar activity and the polar shifts. Everything is spinning and coming together. The light is falling down from the sky, merging into one. When will the solar flashes come, and how long will the phases last? No one knows exactly when this wave of light will come. Matthias reckons between 2026, he said, next year and 2026 will come, but feel that it won't last for months. It also doesn't stay as intense as it is now. It's because of we are denser, we're in a density, and this is what Sandra Waters was talking about in her workshop, that it's like the set point of frequency has shifted. So whereas before you might felt, oh, I'm in a really good mood at this frequency, now it's almost like your set point's been moved, and to get to that you have to really be in your heart space and really have that open heart and really feel the joy. And that's what when I was writing, so what do I need to share for the new moon? It's we just must connect and stay in that part, that compassion for ourselves when we have days where we get angry and fiery and frustrated, and just don't try and stifle any emotions. Let it move through you. If you feel tired, rest if you can. Or do something that you can do. Maybe you can sit down, like if you say, like I tend to, if I'm doing the washing up, I'll put a video on, the motivational video, so I'm doing something. Or like today I had to sit down. I felt like intense pressure coming, and I knew I needed to process whatever it was and rest, and I'd been up early, so I felt tired as well. And I thought I need to connect again. So I went and sat and had a cup of cacao and cuddled the cat. And I still felt like I needed more. And I'm detoxing and trying to cut out carbohydrates. So I really felt like, you're having that dip from when you would have been going for the carbs, and had some golden milk. And that helped me. But do whatever helps you. I've got loads I can suggest, but obviously it's what feels right for you. When the solar, so get ready for the dynamic. Oh, hang on. When this will come, and now, and how long will these phases last? No one knows exactly when this wave of light will come, but feel that it won't last for months. It also doesn't stay as intense as it does now. Our bodies transform very quickly. If you open yourself up, staying in the heart and open space, and connecting to that space, so I'm going to do these 3-minute things for the rest of this month, because I think that'll help me as well, and share it to help anyone else. Get ready for the dynamic month of April, where it can crackle and pop astrologically. All kinds of things happen. Get powerful conjunctions this month. Mercedes, who's in Telegram, she's got a daily astrology things. I find them quite helpful. Also Elizabeth Prue has some stuff that she does, but what I'm finding, I'm part of lots and lots of groups, there's lots of information, even I'm throwing lots at you, like we're doing the class in the morning, we've got the cacao challenge going on, there's so much that it's feeling slightly overwhelmed. Do whatever you feel called to on that day, don't get overwhelmed, just whatever feels right in that now moment, and that might change between now and an hour's time. You might feel like, oh, I'm fine now, I can just put music on and have a little dance. And I tried that this morning, it didn't work for me. Sitting, it literally, I had to stop and sit down and just switch off. And I didn't necessarily switch off, I literally just went live, and I think that's if you viewed the video, and stopped talking, stopped completely, which I'm constantly with the energy for 3 minutes, and that was a practice I did in July in during lockdown when the kids were off and the homeschooling. So next week might be quite good if you've got the kids at home. I will have for Easter. The idea is, even if there's noise going on, that you still do it, and you take that time for you. You set a timer on your phone wherever you are. So if you want to do it discreetly, so you could be at a station, but it's just thinking to yourself, what am I feeling? Observing what your thoughts are and connecting. If you want to do it with a timer, that's fine. If you want to do just a minute, that's fine. But I will be going live and doing that, hopefully at 1:11 every day. I've sort of said I won't commit to the time, but I will make sure I do it every day, starting today when I've already done it, and tomorrow, so that it's just to remind you, oh, Teresa's gone live. It's that 3-minute thing. I won't even talk. So you don't even have to have the sound on. It's to remind you to do it for yourself. And in the group I was doing it with, this is what started the practice, we were going live in the group. And it was so beautiful to watch each other, just knowing they were taking time for themselves to connect. So I thought that would be helpful. Greek mythology. Oh, hang on. April starts today with a strong new moon and the sun in Aries conjunct Mercury and the wounded healer Chiron. You can experience that you would like to move forward but still have something to heal, and that you can still take some rest. Others who are fought through the toughest parts, you are never completely done with healing and can give this moon wings to new beginnings. I got to see the winged ram. Greek mythology tells us of the winged ram with a skin of pure gold. This ram left his golden fur on earth when Zeus gave him a place in heaven. Hence, we have to make some effort to find the heavenly Aries within ourselves. Tip for the coming months: don't plan too much and be in the moment as much as possible. The energy is going in all directions. One day you can fizz and the next day not at all. Go with the flow. If it doesn't flow for a while, that's the intention. Go from wanting and rowing against the tide to feeling what you need now. We are invited to go from willpower to heart power, and that definitely marries up with what we were saying in Egypt and what was coming through the channels in the temples. We need to have that heart power. It's why I felt called to do the cacao thing again, because it's very heart opening. And even if you're not doing the cacao in the morning, do something that you find heart expanding, even if it's just I don't know, going for a walk with the dog. Getting outside, I think, is really important. Snuggles with the kids. Sometimes Gracie just comes up and gives me a big hug out of nowhere, and that's like, oh, that melts me. It's been snowing here, so it's not exactly been barefoot to have on the grass. However, I still went outside, and even if it's just for a few breaths of like opening my kitchen door and just going. And another thing is, if you close your eyes, I can't remember who said this, it was one of the channels I heard say this, and feel the sun on your eyes. It helps with opening the third eye. it goes to the practice of what the yogis would do, where they would eat light. There are some, I'd never even heard of this before, but there are some people that are so, they've got their frequency to such a place they don't even have to eat. They literally eat light like a plant does. People like Yogananda, the autobiography of a yogi, he talks about this, can go without food for days, and it's not like they're starving, because they have learnt to process energy. And if you ask me how, I have no idea. It sounds so far-fetched that I'm like, really? But I've heard this talked about, that yeah, it's a practice to do that. Or some in meditation, in yogis would do that, and you get up and they do it at dawn or at certain times. I'm not saying do that, but the feeling when you are feeling the warmth of the sun, just imagine it lining up with the information of the light within your cells. And it's a good way, I find, or a good visual to, like, you're just being energized, being the sun just kind of washing over you. All right, now maybe we should finish with I was going to move to the Qigong and then come back to the reading. I think I'll do the reading first, actually. I'm going to pull a card. Which one appeals to you both, whoever wants to go first? Which of these two are you more drawn to, the left or the right? You can put it in the chat. That one. What about you? No. Oh, is there? Not sure. Hang on. You put it in the chat. Left, which is my left or your left? That one. That one. That one. That one. I know. It's funny enough, I think of these as they are the angels and ancestors. I feel like that's the information in my cells when I speak to those cards. This feels like it's cosmic, and cosmic. And as we were talking about light, and Aries is fire, or I see it as the fire, the spark. When we went through the daily alignments with Matthias, and I'll put that up, actually, if you want to look at what he says, you can read through the blog he has. Aries itself, it is the divine spark, it's the lower chakras. And I realize, I know for myself personally, I feel like I need to work on these chakras. What in Qigong you have only three. You have like the upper, middle and bottom, or they call the lower chakras, the sacrum and the plexus and the root, in what you would refer to more in the chakra system. So let's pull a card. I'm going to pull 2 cards. I'm going to go from right to left, and I won't say, because obviously it's recording, because then anyone that's watching it will be relevant. Then you pick it. I will do it for you. If we were doing a reading, I would get you to pick them as well. Right, let's pull 1 each. Okay, so the first card, I will go through them. Oh, it's got it back to front. I need to flip the thing around. It's Isis. Manifesting magic, perfect for the new moon. Your dreams, visions, and goals are becoming reality, so stay focused. Remember, our focus, where our energy, our focus goes, our energy flows. I love that expression. I'll read you what Carl says. I just feel Isis is a reminder that you are manifesting, you're on the right track. Isis is a strong, smart and focused Egyptian winged goddess. According to legend, she was able to move from darkness to light and between the underworld, heaven and earth. For that reason, whatever she comes to us, she will help us move from hell of our own fear into heaven of our own love. She was also able to revive her lover Oris from the dead, and this powerful I can't pronounce that word, allegorical story shows how she can help us revive as aspects of our life or a dream that we may have killed off with fear or lack of self-belief. With her magical abilities, Isis will guide us to bring our dreams into reality. You are moving into a space where your dreams reality is becoming your outward reality. This is extremely powerful time, and it's a vital to keep focused on the highest good of all. You no longer want to revive your old history and relive your old history or feel unstoppable, supported, acknowledging where you once were and how you have changed that situation around is powerful focus and gratitude that will align you with the universal of abundance. Discipline and commitments are important now. Consider that you are moving between worlds. We all are. when you daydream or create visions and bring life-enhancing ideas into reality, magic is manifesting all around us. This is exciting. I will do a creative visualization so you can focus. I feel like that's a reminder that, like in the dark moon, you would have let go. You've let go, and you're whatever you want to see today with your new intentions for the new moon, whatever you've written down. So even when you're out and about and you're suddenly sort of just drifting and daydreaming and those thoughts are running around, start to try and focus on how it would see, how you would feel, and if they're actually in reality. So we're tuning to that feeling of that. And also remind yourself, instead of going, oh, I've gone back into that old pattern, or I'm feeling like this again, think, look how far and how long it's been since I've had one of these, this episode or this time, or how long since I've just had a blip right now, but it's been maybe 6 months since I've had a conversation, or I've felt uncomfortable with that person that I was in a relationship with, or I've had that conversation. These people aren't showing up so much in my life anymore. So that your focus then is on how far you've come and how far you've moved from whatever that situation is. And obviously we'll focus with the visualization too. Oh, soul flame. Rediscover a lost part of yourself, experiencing relationship, harmony and healing. Now, soul flame, when I was learning about soul flame with Matthias, it kind of put all my dreams to like, what? When he talks about the soul flames, and I feel like I've met lots of soul flames when I was in Egypt. So there's that, it's that aspect of ourself, our flame, our own fire ignited, but our higher self is our soul, our divine being, the higher multidimensional self of you, however you choose to interpret that. But I'll read what Carl writes as well. Probably much the same. I'm normally quite in par with him. I definitely feel him as a lovely energy. I think he's got reminder. Need to number these. The Hindu goddess Ranha, is that pronounced Ranha? Doesn't say. Is the divine feminine counterpart to her twin flame Krishna. So the female aspect of Krishna. She is considered to represent Shakti energy, the divine feminine and creative spirit of the universal life force. Without the female, the male cannot be created. We are moving in, obviously, back to the divine feminine and more of a, oh, there's that message. All right, yeah, the divine feminine aspects, but feminine doesn't necessarily mean that it's all about the women. It's that the qualities of the woman, the nurturing, the intuition, and as we flip from being in a more masculine world to a more feminine world. It says we're running out of time. Hang on, I might have to go in and come back out again and match them together because I need to upgrade my thingy. 2 seconds, ladies. Give it a second pause.